Hey everybody, happy full moon. Oh gosh, how intense has that energy been for you? Cuz for me, it's been high octane, super intense, but super productive this morning. I had to get my journal done for my full moon circle tonight. I woke up this morning and I was like all stressed out cuz I had all the things on my plate today and I was like, "Oh, I don't have that much time to get done and it usually takes me a while to do these." And I sat down and I got it done. And I was like, I'm done? What? Oh, well, that's what happens when you focus instead of taking a Facebook break and getting distracted by this and that and the other thing. And I am capable of doing this in much, much less time. So, yes, we'll be scheduling shorter amount of time to get those done going forward. And then I had multiple calls and I had a couple different students. It was so sweet. I logged into one of my tutoring sessions and the student was already in the room and she had written on the, using the Alexa, stop. Take my Victoza. She had written on the whiteboard in the room because it's a virtual classroom. I love Mrs. Dory. It was so sweet. So I had to take a picture of it. So those sweet moments when, you know that you're making a difference and that kids are, so that was sweet. And then I had my full moon circle with my portal members and it was magical. And so, it's been a busy day. It's been a good day. And I made a big batch of quinoa earlier. And last batch I made, I didn't put enough salt in it. And then I just couldn't get myself to eat it. So I put extra salt. I put too much salt in it this time. So hopefully it will be okay in my crackers. So I've got a batch of my chia seed, flaxseed, hemp seed, quinoa crackers going that you use cooked quinoa for. And so because it's, the cooked quinoa is combined with all those other seeds, hopefully the amount of salt will then be appropriate and it will still taste good. So I've got that going in the oven now and wanted to pop on and do my daily bounce. I was not feeling well again yesterday and I just didn't want to say that when I was like, hey, happy full moon. And so I was really frustrated though, because, it was 2 weeks of not feeling good. And then I finally felt good over the weekend. And then yesterday I felt like crap again, but today I'm feeling good again. So I'm like, okay, yesterday was just a minor setback. I'm good. And, so it's been a good day. Got out in the sunshine, had to run an errand, pick up some prescriptions. I had to fight with the pharmacy again to get my diabetes medication because apparently it has to be a fight every month now. Except it's not every month, it's every 18 days. But got it figured out, got that picked up so I can take that, which Alexa was reminding me when we started the call. I had to go without it for 2 nights because they couldn't fill it yesterday and they couldn't fill it Sunday. So, but I got it now. So that's good. And moving right along. So I've got multiple people from my portal who are interested in joining my Healing with the Ancestors course. So I'm really excited. And so I committed today during my soul support call with Taylor, one of my soul support girlfriends, one of my soul sisters. During our call, I committed to 40 days of writing with my ancestors. And so I've done, over the last couple of years, I've done a lot of channeled writing with my ancestors. And it came up a couple of weeks ago that since I'm going to start teaching this course and teaching other people how to channel the messages, I need to commit to a daily practice with it. And I did it one day and then I wasn't feeling well. And so I didn't follow through. And so I committed to it this afternoon with Taylor. And I said, I'm going to start today. And then I was like, unless I'm too worn out when I'm done with all of the things I have to do today, then it's okay if I start tomorrow, as long as I start tomorrow. But I've already started today. So day 1 of 40, check. Did my journaling with my ancestors. And so I've channeled some really amazing messages from my ancestors. And it's really cool because, you don't know who's going to show up. Like I show up and I'm like, hey, I'm available. Right. And so I have the journal that I do where I write to my mom. And so I know that it's my mom who's going to show up and get messages from her. But prior to working with her, I would, show up and be like, okay, I'm ready. And the first time I was thinking, my mom's mom, my granny would probably show up. And so I had her picture with me and I thought, maybe my other grandma would show up. Hi, Mary. Thank you. Good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. We missed you on the call today. And so I was expecting to see my grandma. Well, I got all of the grandmothers back to the beginning of time, the dawn of creation, were there to be like, hey, we're here. And you came into this timeline, into this lifetime to deliver a message to humanity. And I was like, oh, hi. And but then like I've had other ancestors show up who I know are in my family line, but like, I don't know them. Haven't heard stories about them. I don't know, anything. But I get these messages and I'd be like, hey, Mom, do you know about so-and-so? She'd be like, no, why? And I'd be like, well, because they showed up and told me blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know that before. So it's been really cool and really healing to get those messages. My grandfather actually came through. Actually, both of my grandfathers have come through, but my dad's dad came through and apologized to me for the way I was treated by my dad's family and that I wasn't believed. And the fact that he's like, I'm sorry, you're still not a part of the family anymore. And they're just as wrong as we were, but they just don't know what they don't know. And so that was really amazing to get that apology from him. And I've done a lot of healing in my relationship with him. So growing up, my dad was really abusive. And my dad's mom, which was actually his stepmom, was really abusive. They were both really abusive about my weight. And both, classic narcissists, like big time, super controlling, super negative. And I always just kind of lumped my grandfather in with them. And over this last year, I've done a lot of work and I've recognized that like he wasn't in the same level that they were. He was from the generation where they were, racist. And like he and my grandmother got very upset when a Black family moved into their neighborhood when my dad was in high school. And like he was very chauvinistic. But those things aside, which those things were generational and learned, right? And yes, we can unlearn those things, but those things aside, like he was a really good grandfather. Like he loved us and he did a lot of things for his grandchildren. And so being able to like really heal that relationship with him and have a good relationship with him now that he's on the other side. And my mom's father, who died when my mom was 9. So of course I never met him. And I grew up hearing all these stories about how mean he was. Because he beat his children, and not just at the same level of other parents in the 50s and 60s beating their children, but like he had a belt named Satan that he used to beat my uncle. It was reserved for one uncle in particular. And, that just takes it to a whole other level. And if they didn't go to mass, they got whipped. And so I grew up like terrified and thinking he was this horrible person, right? Well, as I got older, I got to hear more stories about him and hear, the good stories about him as well, and get a more balanced view of who he is. But I wrote this poem called Legacy of Violence, and that I wonder what my grandfather thinks of this legacy of violence that he's left behind. And he came through and apologized, and has come through multiple times to apologize. And so it's been really, it's just been really amazing and really healing to have these connections. And like his brother came through with a message, and that was one that I'd hardly heard anything about him. Like I knew about my mom's dad, and I knew about his sister who was still alive and who I knew growing up. But I knew his name, and that was about it. Didn't really know anything about him. And so to have him come through and give me messages, it's just been really amazing. And, when I told my mom, she's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I'm really excited to build on my own practice of connecting with my ancestors, and then also to share that with others and help other people connect with their ancestors. So that Healing with the Ancestors course, the actual launch, it'll start June 2nd. But as a perk for people who jump in right away, I'm doing an early bird call for anybody who makes their first payment by May 4th. They get to come on the first live call on May 5th, and they'll get to use that replay so they can actually be practicing connecting to their ancestors for that whole month prior to starting the course. And so it's going to be really, really great. And then there are other perks that they'll get for joining early. So if that sounds like something you'd like more information about, please put ancestors in the comments, and I would love to chat with you about it and tell you about it. It's going to be a really amazing course, and it's going to be at a discount this first time I run it. I believe this is going to be a signature course that I will run over and over again. And the price will go up after this first time. This first time, it'll be kind of doing some experimenting and learning how best to run it and things like that. And so people who decide to jump in and do it with me as beta testers will get a discount. And so yeah, I'm really excited for that. All right, awesome, Mary. I will get you that information. Alexa, stop. And I gotta go flip my crackers. So I hope that you do something today that sets your soul on fire and brings you joy, and that you follow your bliss. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Shit. Well, okay, we're just going to do it like this then. Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes. 30 minutes.